My name is Svetlana Stone. You are watching Artist Voices, where we believe it's essential for artist voices to be heard. And we are pleased to have Janis Siegel from American jazz singer, a member of the vocal group The Manhattan Transfer, here to talk about what does it take to be a musician in the 21st century. And thank you so much, Jane, to joining us. I'm very happy to see you, to learn more about you. And if you can introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us what a little bit about yourself and what are you going to do here in Kalamazoo in Michigan.
Yes, I'm coming tomorrow, actually. Coming tomorrow to meet Matthew Fries for the first time. and I know John Hebert from his wonderful work with Fred Hirsch, but I've never sung with him. So I'm really looking forward to that. And Keith Hall is just a fantastic musician. I've played with him before. So I'm coming tomorrow, and our concert in Kalamazoo is on Thursday. It's at a new space called, I think it's called Jazz at the Crawl Space.
I've never been there, but I'm looking
Yeah,
forward.
well, it's brand new. I think they've only had one artist before, Steve Wilson, saxophone player, and I'm the second person to come in. So I'm thrilled. I really am looking forward to singing with these wonderful instrumentalists. And we're playing Ann Arbor on Wednesday night at the Blue Llama. So it's a little Midwestern holiday in the middle of the week for me.
And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born here in New York, in Brooklyn, New York, in 1952. And I think the city had a lot to do with indirectly with my musical upbringing, because there's all kinds of music in New York City. You can hear anything. And I had the advantage of being able to go to Broadway musicals, also jazz clubs, hear concerts all the time, opera, ballet. I mean, I had all the opportunities, experimental music. There was always something going on here in New York, and the radio in New York was very eclectic when I was growing up. They would play, it wasn't these tight formats that they have now. So I heard everything on the radio. My parents were not musical necessarily, but we had the radio on all the time. So I heard the Great American Songbook. There was a lot of Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Edie Gourmet, Dean Martin. There was a international music, and of course pop music of the time. So I'm essentially a pop singer that got interested in jazz. And I wasn't going to be a singer anyway. I was going to be a nurse. So.
And that's what my question was. What really influenced you? What or who that you decided, even though you want to go to pursue career in nursing and you become singer, you totally turn to different direction.
I did. Well, I'd been
What
singing.
happened?
What the hell happened to you? No. I took a turn, and now it's 50 years later.
So you're 50 years as a jazz singer, or
Well, 50 years with the Manhattan Transfer.
the Manhattan. So you're
we're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year.
This year. Congratulations. That's
Thank
a
you.
long way.
It's a goal.
What, how you got there?
I don't know. I don't know. I've been singing professionally since I'm 12 years old. Singing, recording, rehearsing, performing in a group of 3 girls, and we all played guitar. And that it was kind of a hobby, more of a hobby, because we were all good students, and we were all being encouraged to be professional lawyers or teachers or nurses, doctors. Our parents wanted us to go to college and not be a musician. And in those days, there wasn't the very, very beautifully laid out programs that there are now for singers, especially jazz singers. There's incredible programs at Western Michigan University, for instance, University of North Texas. Here in New York, there's the New School and NYU and Juilliard, and there's all kinds of Miami, the Frost School of Music in Miami have beautifully laid out programs for learning to be a jazz singer. But that didn't exist then. There's Oberlin as well. So, and I wasn't interested in being a jazz singer necessarily. I was a pop singer, folk singer, and I was writing songs. When I did go away to college, though, I still kept flying into the city. I was upstate New York in Buffalo. I would fly home for the weekend to do sessions, and I was singing with musicians up in Buffalo, and it just seemed like that's where my passion was. That's where my energy was. And being a nurse was, at age 17, it seemed like a lot of responsibility, like life and death, and I don't know if I was ready to handle that at that age. So I decided to be a singer at one point and pursue music. And in those days, this is like 1970, 71. It was a lot different. The music business was a lot different than it is now. So I quit school and dedicated myself to music. I still had to have a day job, though. I worked really hard. I was waitressing, and I worked with autistic children, and I did, whatever I could for money while we were singing. And my group was still the 3 girls, and we were doing really well. We were going to get our own record deal at one point. And I was just starting to get interested in jazz as a listener, mainly. And I listened to instrumentalists, mainly. I didn't listen to singers at first. And I think that served me well. And I tell students now, if you want to become a jazz singer, learn the language of the instrumentalists as well. Because there'll be a lot of occasions where you want to sing like a horn. So it's really good exercise and also education to learn the language of various jazz styles. Anyway, in 1972, I met Tim Hauser, who was the founder of the Manhattan Transfer, and then my life changed. Because he played me music I had never heard before. He played me 4-part harmony and 5-part harmony vocal groups, and my head exploded. Because I was always a harmony singer, kind of natural harmony singer, but I had been singing 3-part harmony, and he was playing me these really sophisticated groups like the High-Lows and the 4 Freshmen, and I said, oh, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. I want to be in the middle of that chord.
And you mentioned earlier that there was no school for you to go and learn how to sing jazz, but then you have to sing all this hard harmony. Have you ever feel like frustrated or like I'm never gonna learn this? If yes, then how you overcome this frustration and not give up your music career, so you still continue like 50 years?
I never thought of giving up ever. And maybe it was foolish of me, but in those days you have this youthful energy where you think you can do anything. And we started, the Manhattan Transfer was magic. It was magic how we found each other. It was purely random, how I met my partners. And in the beginning, we didn't really know anything. We didn't, I mean, somebody had to write the vocal arrangements. Okay, how do you do that? We tried trial and error, writing things out, hearing how they sounded, making adjustments, rehearsing until we were, and we worked with people that were authentic in the style too. So we were learning, always learning, you know, from people that we felt were masters. In the beginning, we worked with this wonderful jazz tap percussionist named Baby Lawrence, and he was our choreographer. So we were learning jazz moves as well as jazz harmony, because we had a lot of choreography in those days. And we worked with Tim and I studied harmony and writing composition with a guy out in Queens that we loved, private teacher. So Alan really is the only one of us that has a degree in music education. He was going to be, he had a degree in music education to be a music teacher, but he was on Broadway already when we met him. My partner, Alan, he was in the original Broadway cast of Grease, the Broadway show Grease. So, but he also loved harmony. And you can't sing harmony alone. Well, you can, but you can by recording, overdubbing yourself. But it's very satisfying to sing it with other people and live. So that's what we do.
And having, like you mentioned, you're gonna celebrate this 50 years anniversary of your group. Could you help me? What does it take to like grow together, learn together, stay together for 50 years, and bring this music to others?
Well, it takes a lot of commitment and energy and patience. And it's very much like a marriage. How do you make a marriage last 50 years? I mean, we're talking about 4 people now, not 2. We've had, you know, we learned how to fight, because the fighting is inevitable, you know, creative differences and personality differences and conflicts of interest, for instance. But we stuck it out. We made it through, and it wasn't easy sometimes, but we were very lucky. You know, we were with a wonderful record company for 15 years, Atlantic Records. And in those days, the record company actually supported artists a little bit, you know. We would get advances against royalty, so we could put together a really slamming show, you know, because it costs money to do that. And we toured all over the world, and we honed our craft by doing it. Really, it's a lot of work and dedication.
And communication, so you have to learn how to communicate, right? How you were like communicate and understand for different.
Yes, there's a whole language you have to employ, you know, when you're talking about sensitive issues, usually, you know.
So how you were find together like consensus, or like you agree on like even like the repertoire or the harmony or arrangements?
It was all democracy. It was democracy in action, yeah. Although in the beginning we had more defined roles. Tim was like the producer and the guy who found the material, and I did the vocal arrangements and rehearsed the group. Alan worked on the choreography and the staging and the clothes, the look. And Laurel, my original soprano partner, had choral experience. So she knew about singing together and how to shape vowels and shape sounds and cut off at the same time and listen deeply. And So we were all doing something. We had a specific job in the beginning.
And you respect each other, like competency in specific topic, right? You
Yes, yeah, for the
kind of
most part.
kind of trust.
Yeah. And you have to be a person that does well in a group dynamic. Some people don't like it, don't do well. They don't like the group dynamic. The group dynamic is one of compromise. So if you're not willing to do that, then you shouldn't be in a group, I think. Unless you're the boss and it's a, it's a dictatorship. So which is, I mean, that works too.
Yeah, that yeah, that's good work. That's good work. So, well, um, for those of you who just tuned in, we are here at Public Media Network with a great, wonderful musician from New York, jazz singer and a member of vocal group The Manhattan Transfer, to talk about what does it take to be a musician in the 21st century. And thank you so much again um, for being with us,
My pleasure.
for us today. And you mentioned regarding that being musician is not easy, especially like you were on the road for 50 years. So there's
Yep.
a lot of, since you come in here to Kalamazoo and we have great jazz department, there's a lot of jazz musician will come over and see you during your performance. Is there's a, and we know like it's not easy, but what would be advice that you would like to give to young musicians, artists?
Well, if I had to give any advice, which I don't like to do, it would just be one word: just listen. Learn to listen deeply. I mean, when you're on the bandstand, that's what you're doing, basically. I think all your learning, all your intellectualizing things should go out the window at that point, and then you're just in the moment with everyone else you're performing with, and you're listening deeply and responding. So I would listen to what came before you and build on that.
And another thing, Jane, how we know that being a musician is not easy career, and how people can community support you, like any because some of the people have like misconception, misunderstanding about what does it take to be a musician, an artist. So how, what they can do to support musicians?
Well, come and see live music. Yeah, come and see live music. Buy recorded music. That's how you support your artists, I think. I mean, it's really hard to sell records. We're going to keep making them because we have to. We're going to keep making the music, but the only way really people sell their records now is at gigs.
Gigs.
Yeah.
And speaking about gigs, how people can find information about you, about your group, so they can book or get your music. Is there any information how people, our audience, can find information about you and your group?
Well, we're in iTunes and Amazon, every platform, Spotify. You can get Manhattan Transfer Catalog. We have over 25 records, 25 albums, and
Wow.
each one of us has some solo projects as well. So, and then we have a new record coming out this year. It's being mixed right now, and a 5 CD box set is coming out on Concord Craft Records by the end of the year as well, a sort of retrospective. And we're going to be doing a 50th anniversary tour, starting in the summertime.
Is it all going to be posted on your website?
And yeah, Manhattan Transfer, www.manhattantransfer.net, I think it is.
.net.
I think it's .net. Yeah. And we have a Facebook fan page as well. So there'll be gigs. I'll post it on there.
And Kalamazoo is so thankful that you come in here.
I love Kalamazoo. I've been to Kalamazoo many times and been to WMU many times. A dear friend of mine, named Steve Zagri, Dr. Steve Zagri, he started Gold Company, and I would go in there every year, and we'd do workshops with the students and sing with them, and I'm in touch with some alumni of the group as well. So I'm looking forward to coming to the zoo.
Yes.
Where are you from, Svetlana?
I'm originally from Latvia. From
Latvia.
Latvia. From, from Latvia.
Is your family is okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Good.
yeah. Everyone is great. And uh, speaking about your parents, because you mentioned it in the beginning, who are your parents? Because you said they're not musicians, but you get to the music and they really want you be someone who is like having career in nursing and stuff like that.
Well, my parents were my mother was a housewife, really, and my father sang. He liked to sing, and he had a very nice voice. His idol was Bing Crosby. So, I mean, my first memory of singing really was with him in the car. He would always sing in the car, and I would sing with him and sing harmony. I didn't know what it was, but
So now we know who was your first teacher.
yes, yes. Well, your parents are really your first teachers,
That's
anyway.
true. That's true.
Yes, yeah.
So thank you so much for being with us
My pleasure.
tonight. I really appreciate you took your time. And this concludes this episode of Artist Voices, where we believe that essential for artists to be heard. And we're so thankful for Janis Siegel to saying yes to this interview and sharing with us her story. And thank you for watching us, and see you next time.